Deegan coming across to claim this one. Read it well. Mason again taking up a good position. By Sean Burke. Delivered across towards James McCartan, who's switched positions. Noel O'Mahony defiantly drives it out of the Kerry defence. Coming off the legs of Paul Higgins. Down for Ross Carr. Seemed to push his way forward that time. The referee says play away. Gary Mason. Nicely into the corner to Barry Breen, right on the end line, trying to set up a scoring chance for Linden or perhaps Gary Mason. And taken down on the 20-metre line by Sean Burke, the right half back, operating for much of the game right in the centre. Had a spell in the Limerick game as a Kerry full back, and what was largely an unhappy afternoon for the Kerry rearguard. Remember, the teams are level. Charlie Nelligan calling out the instructions, making absolutely sure that Gary Mason doesn't try to sneak a goal here. And Mason is content to tap it over and give down the lead once more. His second score in what's a very tense and exciting All-Ireland football semi-final. Well, the down fans, many of them on the edges of their seats it seems, but there's a long way to go. We're only in the 10th minute of the second half. It's been a long time since a team from Ulster managed to beat a team from either Munster or Leinster in the semi-final. And down to that this afternoon. Will Kerry get there once again? John Cronin, dispossessed by Conor Deegan. A race for possession here. Won by Whitnell. Belted it forward. Linden reading his intentions. Kept in place somehow. McCartan. Whitnell's waiting inside. It's stopped, however, by Tom Spillane. Good shoulder coming in by Peter Whitnell. And the referee's going in. He doesn't see it as a good fair shoulder because it may not have been shoulder to shoulder. Going to be a free in, and Kerry need to bring in their trainer quickly to attend to the injured defender. That looks like Stephen Stack down there.
Well, the down defence are pulling the Kerry backs all over the place. When the ball comes in, Stephen Stack comes out and picks it up, and he's met with the shoulder by Peter Whitnell. It's fair enough, shoulder to shoulder, but the referee deems it to be a free out, even though he seemed to hit him properly.
Stack happily back on his feet. Stephen Stack, who first figured in the Kerry defence as a wing-back, making his debut in the championship against Tipperary 5 years ago. 5 years on, this is the most important match in his career, the All-Ireland semi-final. Taken by Brendan McKiernan in a match which is getting more and more physical as it develops. Maurice Fitzgerald is moving out of the way as that free is taken. Reaching Mickey Linden, kicking ambitiously. A bit wayward in his finishing.
Down going through a very good patch in terms of possession, but not putting it on the scoreboard.
Down by Mason, pursued by Paddy O'Rourke. Won again by Greg Laney. Oops. Referee just stepping in quickly. Making sure that nothing developed too much as James McCartan complains about that last challenge there on Greg Laney. The referee is having the word with James McCartan himself. I think more or less saying that I'm the boss and I'll run the affairs here. He may well have given a free to Dunn, but he's now cancelled and it's going to be a throw ball. Burns and O'Mahony, the players involved. Barry Breen loses it to Sean Burke. And that's going to be a down ball Pat Spillane is the lone attacker by Kerry all this while, as Down maintained the pressure, and it's Paul Higgins to belt it forward towards Whitnell. One again here. Dom O'Line, the half-time substitute. O'Mahony. But tackled very late, and it's going to be a free from where the ball lands. The challenge there was by Ross Carr, I think.
Silly thing to do there, because it puts Kerry into a very good attacking position when Conor Deegan was getting ready to clear the ball from the down backs.
Meanwhile, it's being kicked into the centre, and yet another free kick results. Jimmy Fleming looking on, explaining it away as a perfectly legitimate tackle on his part. Referee not impressed. The free kick's now mounting up, and this is going to be free kick number 37. 14 for Down, 23 for Kerry. Brendan McKiernan plays with the Burren club that's enjoyed great success at club level during the last couple of years, in the 80s in particular, winning 2 All-Ireland club titles. Higgins with the free. Touchdown, Jack O'Shea getting onto it quickly. 45 metres out from his own goal. Not allowed the freedom. The Down players say, why should they allow him any latitude? Jack gratefully accepts the free kick. Belted towards John Cronin. Paddy O'Rourke now back in the full back line, it seems, on the left-hand side of that line. Burns sweeping it inside to Gary Mason, pursued by Sean Burke. Having to go back on his own 45-metre line, where he's challenged for possession by Maurice Fitzgerald unfairly. Rapidly takes the free to Kane. Positions meaning very, very little in terms of the old style of Gaelic football. Line. Good run forward towards Pat Spillane. Isolated up front, remember, and he's done well to make a fine catch against Conor Deegan. So a rare chance then for Kerry. Simply executed, and another point for Pat Spillane. They left just one man forward, marked by Deegan. He made a magnificent catch in front of an attendance of 40,166, and that's the position.
With Down having so much pressure, they're likely to get caught with everybody pushing forward, and Pat Spillane being left isolated up there is fairly dangerous from a Down point of view.
That's well fielded, but then dropped. And recovered again by Ambrose O'Donovan to Noel O'Mahony. What a terrific battle it's turned out to be in midfield. A rip-roaring semi-final, tactically so interesting. But who's to get through? Sides level at the moment, with 16 minutes gone in the second half. Line the free taker. Whipping it forward beyond Deegan again. Goes back, recovers. Showing his pace and tight control against John Cronin. Into the middle towards Breen, touched on. Anticipated well by Whitnell. Played forward towards Barry Breen again. Deciding to go for a point himself. It drops well short. I think he was in between two minds when he was launching that attack. He looked around to see was there anybody in support, and then hit it, but hit it far too weakly. The initiative seized by Kerry again. O'Mahony. Dennehy beaten for it. Kane. Not held in play by Eamon Burns. Linesman perfectly positioned.
Barry Breen had a great chance there to give him Down the lead. He kicked a great point against Donegal in the Ulster final from a similar position, but that time left it very much short.
Fisted down by Deegan against Pat Spillane. And the shoulder from Deegan on Spillane. So it's McKiernan across the line to Kelly. Read well by Morgan Nix. Space at a premium there against Ross Carr, Greg Blaney, and forced into carrying the ball out over the far sideline. But the referee was whistling and didn't like the nature of the Down challenge. So Nix wins himself the free. Belted towards Jack O'Shea, held by Paddy O'Rourke. There was some holding the referee saw by a down defender. And so Paddy O'Rourke and his fellow defenders under some pressure once again. Maurice Fitzgerald going across to take the kick. So virtually a 45-metre free. So midway through the second half, in a tight and tense football semi-final, can Fitzgerald give Kerry the advantage again? Held splendidly back there, lost, and put over the bar. Or is it? No, it's gone wide. It's gone wide. Pat Spillane somehow saw that one come down off the fingertips of the down defender.
Maurice Fitzgerald's free drop short and was collected in there by Paul Higgins, who was robbed by Pat Spillane on the way out. But the referee had given a free out even before he kicked it wide.
Ambrose O'Donovan ballooning it across on this near side, fisted on by Sean Burke towards Jack O'Shea. With a fair bit of work to do to try and keep that ball in play. Paul Higgins in no particular hurry to take the sideline kick towards Breen. Ambrose O'Donovan does well. Barry Breen injured. Meanwhile, fed forward to Maurice Fitzgerald, who's got a gap. Fitzgerald going forward, closed down now by Higgins. Off balance as he hit it, and it's gone off the defender for a 45. Kerry's first 45 of the match. Down had one in the first half.
A very good movement for Kerry. Ball coming in from Ambrose O'Donovan's, switched into Maurice Fitzgerald, and the whole middle opened up in front of him. John Cronin was coming in from the left-hand side here, and he should have given him the ball. Instead of that, he kicks and it's half blocked and goes out for a 50.
Barry Breen, I think, was injured in that last little bit of action in midfield. I remember there were two down men competing there with Ambrose O'Donovan. Somehow O'Donovan managed to sweep the ball forward. On a thirsty afternoon. Leo Griffin there in the background, long time associated with many fine and great Kerry teams. Nola Mahoney, fine player in his own right, and so many of these young players, I suppose, having to live with the comparisons of the legends of the past 10 years, and it's going to necessitate a little bit of on-field treatment for Barry Breen.
Barry Breen was the meat in a sandwich there of Ambrose O'Donovan coming in from behind. But Down have lost the grip on the game that they had for the early part of the second half, and Kerry have come back very well. But Maurice Fitzgerald free-taking hasn't been as good as usual. Only for that they would be a couple of points in front now.
So the running repairs have been done to Barry Breen. It looks a curious sight. So just under a quarter of an hour remaining, and Maurice Fitzgerald's come out to take this 45. 5 points was his tally at half-time. He hasn't managed to add to that so far. This is a very important kick. And it comes down off the upright. Timmy Fleming feeding it back. And Pa Dennehy sees it come off the upright yet again. How unlucky can you get? Twice they hit the upright.
This must be about the 5th or 6th time that Kerry have hit the woodwork. Great kick by Maurice Fitzgerald. Comes down off the post, and Timmy Fleming was sort of being fouled there, gives the ball back, and Pa Dennehy does the right thing in the circumstances in trying to punch it over the bar, but hits the post.
Back live, Whitnell trying to steal inside against Tom Spillane. Spillane doing well against Linden and Whitnell, but he's lost it, and the referee says it was an unfair steal. And very shortly it seems that Liam Austin will be introduced into the Down team. He can yet be a very influential figure in their midfield. The kick to the centre. Kelly keeping it away from Timmy Fleming. Denied possession by Maurice Fitzgerald, but the referee signals yet another free kick. We've had far too many free kicks really in the second half.
Ross Carr has taken this one because Gary Mason has put a couple wide from this side.
We might as well go back to Gary Mason, it seems. Meanwhile, it's Greg Blaney settling on his left foot. Terrific tension, and this man, I'm sure, is listening in. Is coming in with a little slip of paper, and the player who's making his way off is Eamon Burns. So Austin, the great campaigner down the years, replaced by Pete McGrath. Into the centre of the field, Austin's in there and Burns is gone. McKiernan taken securely by DJ Kane. It's hard tackling, as we said earlier. It really has got particularly physical in the second half. A reminder that the sides are still level with 10 minutes to go. Down 1-5, Kerry 8 points. So under the shadow of the Hogan stand, it's Gary Mason who's won back the job of taking the frees from the left-hand side. Invitingly in, securely gathered by Tom Spillane, punted out in a race for possession, which James McCartan is over there against John Cronin. Stack fed forward to Ambrose O'Donovan against Barry Breen. Touched away somehow by Mason. Recovered by Sean Burke. Nola Mahoney. Ambrose O'Donovan. Kerry looking for a lead point. Belted forward towards John Cronin. And Cronin commits the foul. Paul Higgins, the taker. DJ Kane. Ross Carr. It's been quite a while now since we had that last point, that last one coming in from Pat Spillane for Kerry to level up the match. Now Jack O'Shea. Nola Mahoney. The Kerry side with just 1 point to show for the second half so far. Dispossessed by Barry Breen. The wounded hero. Was the 23rd free of the second half, and we've had 50 in all as Linden raids by Jack O'Shea. Kicking, and he's put it over the bar. Mickey Linden brings the stadium to life once again. The flags flying proudly up on Hill 16, down in the Hogan stand, across in the Cusack stand as well for Mickey Linden's fine kick. 1-6 to 8 points, down, go in front.
Well, Kerry were on the attack there and had a chance of a point, but the ball is quickly transferred down to Linden, who is the one down forward that Kerry are not able to handle all day, and again off his left foot, which is his weaker foot, he kicks a great point to put down in front.
Kerry making a change. David Farrell has come on in place of John Cronin in the attack. Farrell, who did well, I thought, in the opening match of Kerry's campaign against Clare in Munster, didn't play in the game ends Cork. So now Barry Breen hoping that last goal will give Don the necessary injection as Whitnell is through in the clear. The shot is a goal! A second goal for Peter Whitnell. They were surely inspired by that last point by Mickey Linden. Neil Collins telling everybody to cool it down. We're not there yet, but that goal has given Down a tremendous lead. 2-6 to 8 points, a lead of 4 points. What a great goal that was after 28 minutes of the second half.
Well, this could be the goal that puts Down into the All-Ireland final. Barry Breen does very well in the middle of the field, and Mickey Linden does well to hold off the Kerry back and puts in Whitnell, and again he makes no mistake from there.
Conor Deegan, and surely the Kerry team now will show what they're made of once again. Surely they'll come with a late flurry, but only 1 point to show for the second half, that by Pat Spillane. Liam Austin putting in the challenge unfairly against Nola Mahoney, so it's going to be a Kerry free. Jack O'Shea is going to take this one. Maurice Fitzgerald's in around the house. Punted in. Ambrose O'Donovan putting in the challenge. Over there against Paddy O'Rourke, the Down captain. Is he to captain them on All-Ireland final day? Conor Deegan, back to O'Rourke. A player O'Rourke who made his debut in the Down senior colours and championship level, playing in the 1978 All-Ireland semi-final against Dublin. Now it's Pat Spillane again. Pursued by James McCartan. Referee signals that it's going to be a Kerry free. Quickly taken by Spillane. Sean Burke had made the run, but he couldn't contain the pass. So a real backs to the wall situation for Pat Spillane and his colleagues. Against a wind which has dropped a little in the second half. It's Neil Collins and the Down team who are listening to the fans now singing in Croke Park, the cheering ringing in the Down ears. Greg Blaney makes it secure against Timmy Fleming. Mason, 5 minutes to go. Whitnell, the goal scorer. The two-goal hero looking for a third. He's satisfied to top it over. Peter Whitnell with 2 goals and a point now, a super display. Well, we talked about the Ross Carrs and the Greg Blaneys and the Mickey Lindens and the James McCartans in the build-up to this. We barely mentioned Peter Whitnell. Well, what a contribution he's made. 2-1 out of 2-7.
The long ball that Down have played so well for the whole year, again causing problems to the Kerry defence. Whitnell getting it under pressure, but gets up and breaks clear. And when he comes in, he could have gone for a goal, but wisely decides just to tap it over. And Charlie Nelligan following through catches him and gets injured in the process.
Scenes reminiscent of the early 60s. Remember 1960 when they beat Kerry in the final. 1961 beat Kerry in the semi-final. Won the final against Offaly. 1968 won that final against Kerry as well. They have a 100% championship record against the Kingdom, and they're looking good right now. Peter Whitnell wants to go off, I think, signalling his intentions that sub should be brought on. Just under 4 minutes to go. Ambrose O'Donovan, can Kerry yet save the day? Behind by 5 points. DJ Kane going back, making it safe and secure. Chipping it neatly across to Brendan McKiernan. McCartan was reaching out front, but Blaney gets onto it fast. Good secure build-up play. Whitnell looks recovered in there in the middle of that little movement. Ross Carr now. 2 points so far in this game for him. Taking it back from Mickey Linden. A very confident-looking Down team have gone into a fine lead, and it's Ross Carr who's kicked the 3rd point of the afternoon. And I note that Ambrose Rogers is coming in. So just about 3 minutes to go. Rogers has come in. Whitnell has gone off, but he made a great contribution to a fine Down performance. So 2 players who carried Down teams through the 80s, largely unsuccessful years, Liam Austin and Ambrose Rogers, in sharing in what looks like a glory day for Down football. Well, they've taken over Dublin, or seem to take over Dublin, the Down fans, for the semi-final. What will it be like in a final? Greg Blaney onto it again. McCartan. His dad, of course, part of the Down teams in the early 60s. Line. Through into the centre. Barry Breen giving nothing away lightly. The referee just making sure that it stays nice and cool. There's only 2 minutes still to go. Frustration, I think, creeping in a little bit from a Kerry point of view. Remember, they led at half-time by 7 points to 1-3 for Down. But it's been a very good and steady display by Down. Have kicked a goal and 5 points in the second half against just 1 point for Kerry. Some pushing back there. Referee signalling that it's going to be a Kerry free. The push, I think, by Ambrose Rogers. Charlie in a right hurry now, but it's going to take a large miracle to turn this one round for Kerry. 6 points the difference. 1 minute to go. For so many years, Munster teams and Leinster teams lorded it over the Ulster champions, but this Down team came here with fine credentials, under a little bit of pressure now, but they'll confidently soak it up, I'm sure, as James McCartan comes back to the weight of numbers. Ambrose Rogers on towards Mickey Linden, looking for another score against Culhane, trying to dart inside, looking for support, and Culhane concedes the free kick, which will embellish surely a fine performance and a great afternoon for these Down fans.
The strength of the Down forward line, I think, has been the key to the game. They have been able to pull the Kerry backs around, and they've created a lot of goal chances, and they've only taken 2 out of about 6. If they're a bit sharper, they could have had 3 or 4 goals.
Down fans will be concerned to see just how serious the injury to Peter Whitnell is, as Ross Carr kicks. Ross Carr scores. He's got 4 points this afternoon. Linden got 2, Whitnell got 2 goals and a point, and Gary Mason got 2 points. We're in injury time. The long wait, I think, is over. 1968, the last time Down reached the final. Kerry have never, of course, beaten Down in the championship, but they have a late chance here now, and it's Maurice Fitzgerald coming through. Comes off the legs of Paul Higgins. Nothing going Kerry's way. Deegan. Carr. Liam Austin punting it down towards Ambrose Rogers. Away from the down man by Tom Spillane. It seems it's only a matter of time as Gary Mason kicks. But maybe a last gasp chance. They did well against Armagh. They had to play Derry twice. They beat Donegal very convincingly. And now they look to be well on their way. The referee calling, it seems, to the ball as James McCartan kicking. The referee's whistle, it's all over. Down reached the All-Ireland final. Paddy O'Rourke will captain his team on the 3rd Sunday in September against either Meath or Roscommon. 2 dramatic goals by Peter Whitnell, one after 10 minutes, one after 28. Enough to secure Down's passage. The Mourne Mountains, I'm sure, will hear the sound of Down football fans for the next couple of weeks, preparing for their final entry. The final score Down, 2 goals and 9 points. Kerry, 8 points. Peter Whitnell, the wounded hero, delighted. They'll probably be stretching him all the way out of Croke Park.
Well, it's a great day for Down. It's nice to see them back in an All-Ireland final. There's no greater supporters of Gaelic football in this country than Down, and if we get to the final, I hope we're able to beat them, but we have a lot of work to do before that. But they have a forward line that's going to cause problems for whoever meets them in the final, that's for sure.
You wonder also, when you look at the Kerry team this afternoon, will we see people like Pat Spillane and Jack O'Shea in championship action once again? They've given us so much entertainment down the years, but this afternoon It's belonged to Down. Ambrose Rogers, a substitute in the second half, played his part, but they all played their parts. And Conor Deegan now going up to some of the Down fans up towards Hill 16, first going across to the Nally, and he's got a word or two, I'm sure, to say to some people back there who've supported this Down team down the years. They've been great supporters. Anytime Down wins a championship match in the north, they start talking in terms of possible All-Ireland success. Jack, disappointed, makes his way off. Kerry, as we say, with just 1 point from a largely disappointing second half for them. But in the end, it was Down who got through by 7 points.
Fabulous scenes of joy and jubilation here at Croke Park. Croke Park, a massive colour, and those colours are red and black at the moment, and they're looking forward to their day in the final, their first appearance in that final since 1968. And I have to say, Peter Whitnell, the happiest man I've ever seen on a stretcher. Well, we're not going to leave Croke Park totally. We're just leaving for a moment to take a commercial break. After that, we'll be talking to Paddy. Of jubilation continue here at Croke Park. The Down supporters absolutely refuse to go home because they want to savour every moment of this. When you came back to us, the banner you saw there, the Down lotto numbers, 60, 61, 68 and 91. Those are the magic figures. Well, the 91 has yet to be confirmed. But Down, of course, now into the All-Ireland final, where they will take on either Meath or Roscommon. The players themselves are reluctant to leave the pitch here today as well, because Conor Deegan and Paddy O'Rourke, they stayed on afterwards when a lot of the others had made their way to the dressing room. They were here, they were chatting to some of the supporters, receiving the congratulations of their loyal fans who've waited so long for this moment. Paddy Cullen, you've had some great moments yourself in Croke Park, and you will know exactly what this means to those Down players.
Well, I'll tell you, it means an awful lot because they've been out of it so long. On the day, they were the better side. You know, I have to mention Greg Blaney again, around the middle of the field, where there was very little clean catching. He was in there, sweeping any ball, delivering it intelligently and quickly. And that was the difference. There was a period of time there when Kerry could have went ahead. They didn't. Down came down, went ahead, and then got another point, and they just dominated from then on. Kerry, there was a lot of chinks in Kerry's armour today, and I think it was showing up. But they can't go away disgraced. I was sorry for them, but Down with the team today, there's no doubt.
Donald, Kerry hung on tenaciously, although, as Paddy said, there were chinks in the armour, and they made Down fight very, very hard for that.
Well, I think, Michael, they were probably aware of those chinks themselves in the Munster campaign. But what I would say is that for a quarter of an hour of the second half, the match was evenly balanced. It was 8 points each, and then Down got a score, but nobody really dominated. And I think only coming in when Peter Whitnell scored the second goal for Down did they really believe themselves and really carve open the Kerry defence. I think they were threatening to do all day, but they just couldn't really achieve it.
When the teams came back out for the second half, Down tore into Kerry as they had done in the first half, but they weren't putting the game away.
No, it would probably be the fault of a lot of Northern teams who have won the Ulster Championship and come down to Croke Park in the semi-finals. A lot of flash, a lot of good football, but that when they get up to the 21 or the 14, that they don't get the scores on board. And Down were guilty of the same thing today as well.
Donald, for the moment, we're going to go back to Ger Canning because I gather he has an interview lined up, I imagine, with one of the jubilant Down people.
Positive mayhem inside of the Down dressing room right now. And you know why. Liam, delighted.
Oh, thrilled about Ger. I've waited so long for this, and it was great, the spirit and determination today, and I think that won in the end. I thought towards the second half, at the early stages, I thought we were going to lose it, but we came back strong at the end, and that was all that counted. There was great spirit in this team. Some fine goals by Peter Whitnell. Oh, excellent. He took them very, very well. We were very unfortunate at the start. We missed two fairly good opportunities, and we could have been very comfortable at that stage, you know. Have you had any chance yet to check on Peter Whitnell's well-being? Is he okay? He's all right. Just a few bruises and so, but he's fine. He's fine. Michael Lester was making the point. He looked the happiest man he's ever seen in a stretcher. He is indeed. But I can assure you, he was very much so. We're all delighted. You know, it's a great occasion. The support and everything bring with us, and we're looking forward to 15th of September. Liam, what is it going to mean to Ulster football, to Down in particular? Well, Down have been in the doldrums for a long, long time, and they've lived in the shadow of the 60s teams and so forth. And it's about time that the Down team up at this age start making inroads into the game. And we have good players, and it's up to us to produce it on the day. On a personal note, I'm sure you were delighted to get in there. Oh, very much so. I had a very frustrating 5 weeks, a bad injury, and just to get in there was just a dream come true for me. Liam Austin, you've soldiered long in Down's cause. Congratulations, well done to you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Yes, he has indeed soldiered long and hard in their cause, as indeed has Ambrose Rogers, and it was nice to see both of those players getting a chance to take part in this game today. One interesting thing, Paddy Cullen, that I'd like to put to you is when Dublin made the breakthrough in 1974, you came pretty much from nowhere and suddenly you were an awesome team. Now this downside, it seems to me, they certainly have the players to make a big impact in football.
Yeah, I think they definitely have potential. You know, Donald was saying there earlier about, you know, northern teams coming to Croke Park and all that. But the semi-final is a very difficult game to play in because you're waiting to get to the final and this is it. And I think they will improve now. They'll have the confidence now. They have the footballers. You know, in the league we play them, and they had a good team then. And they're beginning to get the experience now, and this All-Ireland final is going to be anybody's.
We talked at half-time, Donald, about the fact that if the down forwards could get a chance to express themselves and to get their composure again, that they could rip Kerry apart. They didn't quite rip them apart, but they certainly started to flow towards the end of the match.
They did, and Paddy made a good point earlier. I think that Greg Blaney was the man that unhinged the Kerry defence. He swept in for a lot of the breaks, picked them up, and then used the ball down the wings. What was incredible about the down forward line to me, looking from here, and we had a bird's eye view of them, they seemed to lack a lot of shape. Their full forward line played very close to each other. They didn't play the corners really, because they had the pace, and that's what a forward line should do, open out the play and run at them. Down incredibly, stuck close together, and I think it's only when they began to open it out with the last part of an hour that they did really take Kerry to the cleaners.
This is something, Paddy, that obviously when the jubilation has settled down during the week and they start to prepare for the final, that Peter McGrath will be looking at specifically. You made a very valid point in the middle of the second half when things were still tight, that Down were working so hard, getting so much possession, getting little out of it, and in 2 moves Pat Spillane had the ball over the bar at the other end.
Yeah, well, this is typical Kerry, isn't it? But that was the problem, and has always been the problem with northern teams. They just work so hard and they can't get any scores. But now, I think that now they're there, and now they can plan and say, right, let's open it up, let's play football, we're in the final. You know, we have something to lose, but we're there. You know, to be knocked out in the semi-final goes back to the old story of northern teams can't make it.
Yeah.
So they're there now. I think, you know, Mickey Linden got a point early in the second half, reminiscent of Peter Rooney in 1968, and it settled them down. And you know, they're the type of guys that are going to win All Ireland, and there's no doubt about that.
Paddy, for the moment, let's go back again to Ger Canning.
With me, Conor Deegan. Conor, that was a terrific performance. How do you feel about it all?
Well, as you've seen yourself in the changing rooms, the team is ecstatic. We came here today to win, play good football, which I think we did at the end of the day, and we've won, and that's all we came here to do, really.
The defence did its job.
Yeah, the defence played very well, very sound. Paul Higgins, I thought, was outstanding. DJ Kane was tremendous, as he has been all through the campaign, but played very strong. I think Barry Breen at midfield had an exceptional second half.
And with you now as well, my old pal Greg Blaney. Greg, well done. Great performance.
Sure. Yeah, we're delighted to be in the final. Thought the first 20 minutes of the second half we fell asleep. We weren't Kerry up their game and we weren't getting any breaks. But I think Mickey Linden's point was the turn point of the game. And from there on, we're...
This victory, of course, has upset your domestic plans just a little. You were getting married in the middle of all this. In fact, you are married.
Stopped upsetting. We got married 4 days before we lost the final, and I went on honeymoon for a week there in between. So we're settling now, and we're getting ready for the final in 5 weeks' time.
I was asking earlier, what is this going to mean, do you think, for Ulster football to beat Kerry, one of the top counties in Gaelic football?
It's a big boost for Ulster football, but we really see winning All Ireland as a bigger boost. You know, the final isn't there just to be participated, and we would hope to go all the way and win it. But I'm sure Meath or Scum will feel the same way.
Because at the start of every campaign, somehow Down seemed to be the favourites, or somebody's favourites to come out of Ulster.
Well, I think on account of the fact that Down had a great record in the 60s, I think we've been burdened with the tag of favourites every year. But this year we weren't made favourites, and things seem to have worked out well for us.
Enjoy the build-up to the final, Greg and Conor. Thanks very much for talking to us. Well done.
Yes, Greg Blaney, always been a class player down through the years. This year perhaps playing his best football in that Down jersey. And Conor Deagle, I met him during the week. Well, he's a gentle giant, a very pleasant fellow. But when he's out there on the pitch with a Down jersey on him, he's as tenacious as you're likely to get. In the first half of that match, Paddy Cullen, Down were, I suppose, naturally enough, they were very nervous. They were very slow to settle. They got a penalty that they should have put away, would have really settled them into this game, and they missed it wogiously. Now let's look at the build-up to that penalty first.
Yeah, well, you know, it's very hard on Charlie Nelligan there because
do you think so? As a goalkeeper now, I want to ask
I
you
think
that.
he took the wrong option though. I think I would have went down. Oh my God, I'm talking about myself again. I would have went down my body.
Yes.
And I think Charlie would have got away with it because he would have covered it. I don't think they could have got the ball away from him if he covered it with his body. But he was unlucky. It was split-second stuff.
Well, here he is facing the penalty, and I think Mickey Linden, if they had lost today, would have nightmares about this one for a long time to come. Never really hit it.
He never really connected. I don't know what he was thinking about. He hit it fairly hard, but never connected properly, though. with the see, our referee's making sure nobody runs alongside him. See that?
Not a sight of Mick Lyons.
Yeah, he just didn't hit the mark. Just didn't hit the mark. Good for Charlie and Elegant is happy.
Yeah. Well, it happens like that sometimes, I suppose, in big games.
Oh, yeah.
However, they steadied themselves so well in the second half. Donald O'Grady, let's take you on to next Sunday for the moment. Meath now, finally, against Roscommon. What do you think about that match?
Well, I think all pointers favours me, to be honest with you. I mean, they're the team that have been there for the last 5 or 6 years. They've got over 4 tough matches against Dublin, got through tough Leinster campaign. Roscommon, I mean, they don't seem to play that well when they come to Croke Park. They played Cork last in the semi-final. They didn't play great. So you'd have to give me the vote there, really. Their experience, their big match occasion experience will probably carry them through.
Donald, let's go back again to this match and let's take another a look at another incident from it. And again, an occasion when...
Maurice Fitzgerald very unlucky, but the keeper did very well here. Neil Collins tipped it against the bar, and when he came back, you'll see it hit the woodwork again, or a second one for Maurice Fitzgerald, just in the space of a couple of seconds. Pascaline got a good score here, I think. You kicked it over the bar.
Paddy Cullen, you were counting the amount of times I think the woodwork was hit today, something like 6 times.
I think it was 6 times it was hit, yeah.
Here it is again, I think, yeah.
That's unlucky. That's unlucky.
I mean, that's just after the down penalty. I mean, if Kerry had got that, who knows what would have happened.
Yes, mind you, there was a Kerry player standing in the square during all of that as well. It has to be taken into account. Let's go back to Ger Canning again for the moment.
Ambrose, you battled hard, but it just wasn't to be.
No, it was just one of those days. I think everything we tried didn't come off. We had a few goal chances normally. The players that had them would have taken them on the day, but today it just didn't seem to go right. But in fairness, that's a good downside. They harced us, they were fit, and they didn't let us settle on the ball. I think, to be fair to them, they played well, but I thought had we taken our goal chances that, we would have crushed them maybe a little. As the game went on, then they wore us down, and 10 minutes to go, they dominated us.
The woodwork was a very popular place for the ball to land on today.
It was, yeah. It was. We must have hit it a couple of times. And to be fair to Down, though, they missed some chances as well, but I think over the run of the game, our chances were clear-cut. And we missed, and I think you can't afford to that in a game. You won't win any game if you don't take your chances, particularly goal wins.
And alongside you here, Tom Spillane. Tom, obviously bitterly disappointed.
Bitterly disappointed, very, very disappointed. I think I was only brought back into the panel 2 weeks ago, and there was a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. The selectors showed a lot of confidence in me, and I'm sorry to say that I've let a lot of people down today, and what can I say about it? It's just bitterly disappointed. I feel very responsible for it.
Well, you played well. I mean, it's the entire team battled hard, but that's a very good Down team, Tom.
There's no doubt about that. They play to their strengths all the time, and their forwards are the key to anything. I thought we had them contained for a while there in the first half and a bit of the second half, but we just didn't penetrate and we just didn't get the scores at the right time. Believe it or not, a bit of a breeze perked up as well in the second half and made it probably quite difficult to spray the ball around the place. But all in all, it's a very, very disappointing day for Kerry football, and I feel very, very disappointed about it.
Obviously, very emotionally struck by all of that. Ambrose, from your position in the middle of the field, did you think at any stage in the second half that you could win this game?
Well, I did, actually. I did. 10 minutes gone in the second half. I thought we were slightly in the driving seat. It was the first time in the game I thought that we had reasonable control. And then all of a sudden they popped over a few points. And you see players like McCartan, Mickey Linden and these fellas, you can't afford to leave them alone for 2 minutes. And I mean, that's what we did. And they're going to punish you. And I think Meath better take a warning from it, or Roscommon, whoever. These 6 down forwards are lethal, to say the least. You can't give them an inch.
Ambrose and Tom, it hasn't been easy for you to come out and talk to us, but thanks very much indeed for doing so.
Yes, interesting that everybody thought when Kerry had beaten Cork and had won the Munster Championship against Limerick, well, everybody was saying, well, that's Kerry's All-Ireland for this year. But the disappointment of losing there, well, it's quite obvious looking at Tom Spillane and Ambrose O'Donovan there. Tom Spillane, I think, well, he let nobody down today in terms of his effort. The disappointment on the Kerry faces, I mean, obviously they'll be disappointed after losing a semi-final, but those guys have achieved so much.
Yeah, it's funny, you're still hungry, it's great to be in there, and, in Kerry, as you know, they want to win all the time. They will be disappointed, particularly Tom coming in there, at a late stage, hoping that he was going to contribute, which he did. But the chinks were in the armour, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, they took Cork, and it was a sucker punch.
It was a difficult situation for Tom Spillane coming in for this match, being put in at full back. And, well, the early moments of that game were hot for him, and, well, a down goal was always threatening, and it finally came.
Yeah, it was a good goal. I thought that when Peter Withnall gave it in, that it was actually a bad ball he gave in. There was a couple of Kerry men. We'll just knock it in here now. Right now, there's a couple of Kerry men, but it was a great knockdown. I think it was young McCartan, was it? No, it was Mickey Linden. It was Mickey Linden, yeah. It's a good goal. It's a great goal.
As we said, they were threatening to do that for a long time this afternoon. Well, Ambrose O'Donovan there issued a warning, more specifically to me, interestingly enough, but he finally amended it to include Roscommon as well, and it certainly will be tough for whoever comes out of that second semi-final.
It will be, and that's going to be interesting too. People write off Roscommon. I wouldn't write them off at all. They came through a good Mayo team. Now they're in the semi-final again. They have a lot of experience, but they'd still be the favourites. They have to be.
Mind you, looking at Roscommon, you know, they were here last year, Donald. They're now college champions for 2 years in a row, so they have enough experience now to handle this situation.
Yeah, well, that has to be a plus, Michael, and that was the main thing, if you like, the main ingredient against the Ulster champions from year to year, because they never got a run. They were always different Ulster champions for the past 15 years. So Roscommon have been here last year. They played Cork. They ran them close enough. I mean, I think Cork weren't over impressive on that day. So they'll have to give them a chance, but you would have to favour Meath, basically. I think that even with Down's great display here, I think Meath will go in, if they beat Roscommon, as hot favourites for the All-Ireland football final.
Donald, we come back again to this afternoon's match, a game full of incidents. This particular one was Jack O'Shea's missed goal. Now, this might have had a different outcome, who knows, in the game.
Well, that was just down under us, Michael, and he never really felt comfortable. I thought when he got the ball,
when he got the ball, he looked around him at one stage rather than looking directly at the goal. But this is Down's second goal coming up, Donald. Let's talk about this one.
Peter Whitnell ran on to a great ball, great through ball. That's the ball that you want in football, the ball played in fast behind the defence. It'll hop there on it, and the Down forwards are fast enough to get onto those type of balls. Well, unfortunately for them, they didn't play them off enough today. That's the type of ball that a fast forward wants, into the space behind the defence and leave the forwards around. But he tucked it away lovely.
Donald, we're going to go back to Ger Canning again, who's got somebody else to talk to for us.
You know, Michael, I doubt there's anybody happier in Croke Park this afternoon than this man here, Pete McGrath, the Down manager. Sum up your feelings for us, Pete.
One of absolute delight and relief, because it was a funny sort of a game. In the first half, we dominated, missed a lot of chances. Kerry came back very strong, and in the second half, the game seemed to die a bit of a death. It was anyone's game up until Peter Whitnell got the goal.
Those goals were very, very important.
He took them very, very well, because he kept both shots low, and Charlie Nellican had no chance of either of them. And given the fact that we had missed a lot of chances, obviously put the pressure on the forwards in terms of if they got chances, they might snatch at them. But Peter took them with great aplomb and with great calmness.
Well, last year you took Down as far as a league final against Meath. Now the ultimate, the All-Ireland final.
Yes, it's obviously a great feeling and something to look forward to. And we only hope that we can come back here in 5 weeks' time and the team can do itself justice.
People talk about your attack, but what about your defence today?
The defence has played well all through the championship. They have marked extremely tight. They've covered for each other very well and played with great discipline. And today, given the free-taking ability of Maurice Fitzgerald, it was vital not to foul. And we give very few fouls away today, so our defence today deserves a lot of the credit for the victory.
Peter, enjoy your day, enjoy your afternoon. You've certainly deserved it. Well done to Down.
Thank you very much.
Well, Peter McGrath took the Down minor team here to Croke Park in 1987 and did so successfully, produced players like James McCartan. Can he go all the way now with the senior side? Well, that remains to be seen. Well, it's been an eventful day here at Croke Park. It started off with Kilkenny's minor hurlers beating Derry in their All-Ireland semi-final to qualify for a place against Tipperary in the hurling final. Then next up we had Cork's minors, they successful against Donegal. And now, of course, Down have successfully competed and won their place in the All-Ireland final for the first time since 1968. I'd like to thank, finally, our two guests this afternoon, Paddy Cullen and Donald O'Grady, for joining us. Don't forget, of course, that you can see highlights of today's match in the Sunday game tonight, plus a look at yesterday's Leinster final. And who has won the Telecom Éireann Man of the Match award from today's game? That you can find out tonight on the Sunday game. We're back at our usual time tonight at 8 o'clock. I hope you can join me here again on Network 2 for that. For the moment, from all of us in Croke Park, good day to you.
Much about the last times. I was told it was here in '68, but it's a fantastic feeling to be here today.
Of course, you've lived with the legends of '68 and '60 and '61. That can't have been easy.
Oh no, but when you can't really relate immediately to it, it's not too bad. It's really the public and the older generations maybe they feel it more than we do. The present bunch of players didn't feel it that badly at all.
In the past, Ulster teams have gone so far, played so well, and yet come away beaten. So we're very pleased today from our own point of view and indeed for the whole of Ulster football, that we've shown that Ulster teams can come here, compete and win.
I was only brought back into the panel 2 weeks ago, and there was a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. The selectors showed a lot of confidence in me, and I'm sorry to say that I've let a lot of people down today, and what can I say about it? It's just bitterly disappointed. I feel very responsible for it.
Well, you played well. I mean, it's the entire team battled hard, but that's a very good Down team, Tom.
There's no doubt about that. They play to their strengths all the time, and their forwards are the key to anything. I thought we had them contained for a while there in the first half and a bit of the second half, but we just didn't penetrate and we just didn't get the scores at the right time. Believe it or not, a bit of a breeze perked up as well in the second half and made it probably quite difficult to spray the ball around the place. But all in all, it's a very, very disappointing day for Kerry football, and I feel very, very disappointed about it.
I think it's fair to say that history wasn't going to win us that game today. We had to go out and prove to ourselves that we were worthy to beat Kerry, and I think we did that today.
How good do you think is this present Down team?
Well, I think you could see today how good they are. We feel that we had a very good, strong team put out, and we did okay in the day, but I think this Down team's a very good team, and I'd say they'll go a long way yet.
Of course, you know quite a few of these Kerry players. You've shared a room, in fact, in Australia with Jack O'Shea.
That's right. I was speaking to him afterwards. He was telling me that there's no point in beating Kerry, and if you can't go on and win the thing, and that's true. If we get beaten in the final, this win over the Kingdom will count for nothing.
What will the support be like? What will the build-up be like, do you think?
I don't know. I can't remember the last time we're in an All-Ireland final.
So a jubilant Down team move into their first All-Ireland final since 1968. While a very disappointed Tom Spillane there, summing up the feelings of the whole Kerry team. Well, let's now take a look at the statistics from today's game. And there was no question of who was the more guilty of indiscretions on the field of play this afternoon, Down registering almost twice as many frees as Kerry. However, both sides only scoring 4 points each from frees, as you can see, Down having much the better of the scoring from play. 2 goals and 5 points for the Ulstermen against just 4 points. Kerry only scored once during the second half, and that point coming from Pat Spillane. And of Kerry's 9 wides, only 2 came in the second period. Well, Down had a total of 11 wides, 5 of which came in the second period. And after the match, Ger Canning put it to Colm O'Rourke that Down were indeed the better team overall.
Yes, overall Down were the better team. They had the sharper and more incisive attack, and I suppose if they had to be taking their chances, they could have had the game sewn up a bit earlier.
How good are they? Do you think there's an All-Ireland in them?
Yes, I have always fancied Down. I went for them today. I think there is an All-Ireland in them. I hope if we get to the final that it's not at our expense, but Down have a very good team.
Let's talk for a bit about Kerry. We saw their great stars out there, Jack O'Shea and Pat Spillane, tried to rally the side, but Kerry followers will be very, very disappointed, in particular with the second half.
Yes, the Kerry defence in particular were under constant pressure, and they never seemed to be able to cope with the Down attack. And I suppose the best players that Kerry had today were probably the likes of Jack O'Shea and Ambrose O'Donovan and Pat Spillane and Timmy Fleming. And it's probably not a great reflection on the rest of their talent that those are the people who were trying to bring Kerry back into the game during that second half when they were playing into a strong wind.
To what extent do you think that Down has changed their style of approach, their attack in particular this year?
Well, traditionally, when we played Down in leagues years ago, they used a lot of short passing. Now they seem to be capitalising on the fact that they have a very good full forward line by playing a lot of long balls in. And their whole forward line are able to create an enormous amount of space. So when the ball comes in, there never seems to be any bunching, as a lot of other teams seem to have. So they're able to keep the whole back line spread out. And because there's so much pace then, if one of their forwards get the ball and they get a run on their back, they're usually able to get by their man, and then that causes a lot of trouble.
There was much speculation about Linden and Carr and Blaney and how they would do this afternoon. Not too many people were talking about the name of Peter Whitnell. He scored 2-1.
Yes, he was new to the scene, and of course, I suppose, like everybody else, we were talking about James McCartan and Mickey Linden in the full forward line, and now they come up with Peter Whitnell, who scores the first goal with his left foot, and then the second goal with his right foot, and then a very good point near the end as well. So they have a new attacker now that everybody's going to have to look at.
If we take a look at that first goal again, he played the ball into a well-marked Linden, a hint of inexperience there, but gathered the rebound well.
Yes, it probably was a very bad pass to give in. He punched the ball in, but Linden, of course, showing his experience, got up between two defenders and flicked it back onto him and he was coming running and took it very well on his left foot. Both his goals were put in low, which made it very difficult for Charlie Nelligan to get down on.
Indeed, the second goal came at a time when the game had gone a bit ragged, a bit stale.
Yes, the first 15 minutes of the second half, first 15 or 20 minutes, the whole game had gone a bit dead, and Linden had got a great point for down to sort of bring their supporters back to life. And then, of course, the Whitnell goal with his right foot, after Linden had done very well to hold off his man when a ball bounced between them and left a clear path for Whitnell to goal, and he stuck it away very well, again low down into the corner.
You mentioned the down supporters. They really did support their team this afternoon, didn't they?
Yes, it was a great occasion. There was great atmosphere and great colour, and the down followers got great value for money, and it's nice to see them back in an All-Ireland final.
OK, Colm, well, who's it to be this week, the winner of the Telecom Éireann Man of the Match award?
Well, I think the man who caused most trouble throughout the game to Kerry was Mickey Linden. Down started off very well in the first half, and they were getting a lot of ball up front, and Linden was causing all sorts of trouble for Connie Murphy, who was obviously injured as well, but he turned him on several occasions. He got a very good point. He set up a couple of goal chances, and he was fouled on a few occasions, which settled down the down team by getting the few early scores that they needed. And then during a period of the second half, when the game had gone a bit dead and it was getting a bit scrappy, he kicked a very, very good point with his left foot, which brought down back to life, and wakened their supporters who had gone quiet for a period, and they really got behind their team then for the last quarter of the game.
So well done to Mickey Linden, the Telecom Éireann Man of the Match winner for this week.
A wounded hero. That was the 23rd free of the second half, and we've had 50 in all as Linden raids by Jack O'Shea. Kicking, and he's put it over the bar. Mickey Linden brings the stadium to life once again.
This has been a very good season for you so far.
It has indeed, yeah. Long may it continue.
What do you put it down to?
Well, at this stage of my career, I'm fairly experienced, and I'd be fairly relaxed before the game, and the nerves don't be too bad.
What kind of spirit of togetherness is there now in this down team? Because Pete McGrath, it seems to me, has certainly got the team buzzing.
He has indeed. We're a very close-knit outfit, and we've great belief in our ability. And when you have that in a team, you don't lose.
A tremendous performance from all of the down forward line today, and well done to Mickey Linden, chosen as Colm O'Rourke's Telecom Éireann Man of the Match. Well, now we're going to turn our attention back to yesterday's Leinster football.
It was a hard-fought game, a tough win for Meath in the end.
Very tough match, Ger, and we didn't expect anything different. We came to play Laois, and we know what Laois can play. I remember the match we played Laois at the start of the championship campaign in '87, the toughest physical match we ever had. Fairest, toughest, hardest physical match we ever had. We came along today and we knew we were going to get the same kind of game today. All the papers talked during the week about Meath having an easy win. We didn't believe it. I don't think Laois believed it. It's obvious from the way they played, they didn't believe it.
Yeah, they played with great commitment, considering that last year, I think there were about 13 of the team on the field last year, they would be beaten by 20 points by Meath in the semi-final.
Yeah, they were, but I mean, come another year, get a number of games together, they had the benefit of a replayed match and an earlier championship match, and you get all that together and you start winning the championship. What happened the year before makes no difference. So we didn't expect anything different than what we got today.
Bernard, how tough was that this afternoon?
It was very, very tough, Ger. I can assure you, every Meath man will tell you that. I think we're delighted just to get it over with. There was a lot of pressure on Meath players going in today. Laois had nothing to lose. We had everything to lose in one sense. For the first sort of two-thirds of the game, they really came at us, and they had every bit as much possession as we had. The man being sent off probably didn't help their cause. They were 2 points up at that stage and playing well. But I think at the end of the day, you know, our experience probably told, and in the last 10-15 minutes we were round out fairly comfortable. But full credit to Laois today. I think they stick at it. They have a great future.
Well, congratulations to Meath, and in particular to Martin O'Connell, who was chosen as Telecom Éireann's Man of the Match for his tremendous defensive performance in that Leinster football final.
Words like crafty and cute come to mind when you think about this current Meath team. Obviously playing together since about '86, that all helps.
That all helps, yeah. I suppose we take it like as a club team, really, and we know each other so well, and we just keep going, and hopefully that we can beat Roscommon, and you never know what happened after that.
How determined are you to win back the All-Ireland crown?
I think we're very determined to win it back. I suppose Roscommon are just as eager, and the Kerry and Down are just as eager as well. We are eager, and hopefully we can do it. But we didn't look any further than the Dublin matches and the Wicklow matches, the Offaly match. We take one game at a time. We got over Laois today, and now we have 8 days to think of Roscommon.
Indeed, and I'm sure that Roscommon will be thinking about Martin and the lads as well. In the minor football meeting of Cork and Donegal today, it took Donegal a while to settle against their bigger opponents, but settle they did, and having weathered the early Cork storm, they got down to the business of a great game. This was how Micheál O'Shea and Donal O'Grady described the action.
Arish, Taigo Golinche, Rova and Son, the Honlo Bugig, Horpig is Shirun C, the Shaheshan de Barod, Chansige, et Ho, Anna Havoy and Son on Gulboy, Hulin, Anna Havoy, Adamnan, or the Horpig, Agus Sean de Barod, a Woolen Kick.
An excellent shot there from Sean Barrett from Mill Street, and an excellent save by Ewan Doherty. A great save because Cork are really dominating the game.